Hardtails, the most versatile type of mountain bike. They are beginner friendly and pro rippable. What more do you want? Well, maybe you want to ride yours just a little bit faster, so let's get learning. Riding a hardtail fast can get really exciting because trails can feel so much faster than on a full suspension bike. They might not be, but it feels it. Anyway, before we get into it, hit that subscribe button if you haven't done already, because we do a video every day of the year about mountain bikes. Get the basics right first. If you're riding on flat pedals, then get a good set of grippy pedals and some mega grippy shoes, because slipping a pedal at any time ain't great, but if you're going really fast, then it double ain't great. It's also really important to get the right position. Sounds basic, and I guess it is, but I find, especially on hardtails, you need to get your foot kind of slightly shuffled forward on the pedal, I would say. So the ball of your foot is almost on the front of the pedal. Makes it easier to get heel down, which is gonna be really important when you're going fast, because if you're heel down, it's what I call being in the pedals. Because now when I'm riding into rough stuff, it's gonna push that sort of the pedal into the sole of my foot, give me more grip. Whereas if you're on your toes and you ride more flat-footed, it's much more easy to slip a pedal and get weight going forward. Alternatively, like Blake, when he rides his hardtail, he always rides in clips when he's going fast. Obviously, you then sort of just lessen that risk of slipping a pedal. You can still come out of them, but it's way less likely to happen. Brake levers are always going to be down to personal preference where you're setting them up, but one finger braking is really important because you need to be gripping your bike like mad for a hardtail. Also, I like to have them fairly high, sort of a decent angle, so that when I'm bombing down the hills and I am heel down, I can reach them nicely. I don't want to be kind of rolling over the bars to get to them. So also kind of brings your wrist up on top of the bar, and if you're hitting things hard, again, weight can go forward. Also contact points, so grips. I know you've probably still got a suspension fork on the front of a hardtail, but you are going to get more vibration. So thicker grips, a bit more rubber, a bit softer, could help you out, could stop getting arm pump and actually just be a bit more comfortable, less sort of harsh on your hands. Also seats, if you're pedaling a long time on a hardtail, you're going to want a comfy seat because you're going to feel all those vibrations through your rear end. Hill bombing is the most fun thing, I think. So for this, it's really important to make sure on flats you've got your feet absolutely sorted. I'll kind of make sure I'm set up for dropping here so they're in the right place. Almost pinch my knees a little bit because I know when I'm going really fast, slipping a pedal would be bad news. So I want to almost pinch my seat so I'm super solid on the bike. And down something like this where it's really fast and it's rough, I will drop my heel, so I'll bring the weight back behind the bike. It's just a way safer place to be. If you're in the middle and you hit something, like I say, weight is going forward. So head up, looking where I want to be, using my instincts a bit for what my front wheel's doing. This bit is super straight anyway, but like I said, head up, heels down, weight back. When it comes to slowing down and getting ready for something like a corner, then I will drop my weight back towards the middle, just so I can get some weight back on that front tyre. But it's all about trying to be solid on the bike when you're going really fast. Pumping and bunny hopping are two of the most important things when it comes to riding a hardtail fast, because at some point when stuff gets too rough, you're gonna have to start unweighting or bunny hopping over it, because you'll just risk damaging your rear wheel, puncturing, or if you're on flat pedals, hitting them so hard you just slip your pedals. So definitely, you know, getting heavy for speed and then getting light to carry that speed, super important. Something like this, it's loose and it's rough, and the line I'm gonna ride here, well, kind of the best line really, the fastest line, is up and over these 3 or 4 really big rocks. If I hit them, it can be a bit dodgy. So I'll use this first one to help me out, get a nice little bunny hop up and over these. You've got to be careful where you land as well. Full suspension bike, you kind of get away with it a little bit. If you get the timing wrong and you land in a rock, you need to be a bit more careful with the hardtail. Of course, it always comes back to good bunny hop techniques, using your weight to lift the wheels as well. So even if I do get a bit wrong, hopefully my weight's in the right position, my feet are in the right place on the pedals, and I'll get away with it. One of the most difficult parts of riding a hardtail fast is cornering fast, because without that rear suspension, you'll find you just have less grip. So a bit like the pumping and the hopping, hardtails, you have to get the fundamentals right. And for cornering fast, That is getting your weight low, dropping it to the outside by dropping your outside foot. And then really importantly, balancing your weight front to back on the bike so that both tyres have a decent amount of grip, so they're about level. And when you go just over that and you push the hardtail into a drift, I think it's actually one of the best feelings out there. It feels so raw and you're so connected because you feel it all through your foot, that rear end sliding around. So it's well worth going that extra and trying to learn how to drift. On corners like this, where we've got big smooth berms, they're super grippy, and actually there's not much difference. In fact, on a full suspension bike, you're gonna hit these so hard that the bike is gonna almost bottom out in the middle of the turn. Hardtail's gonna feel good, it's gonna feel solid. You need to make sure your foot is planted, especially your outside one, because the G-forces of hitting this so hard, you could slip a pedal. So get the basics good, and then have a good time on your hardtail.
We should run away to a brighter day. Like a bag, cop a couple tickets, hopping on the plane. Hit a different country with each other, change your last name. Tell me, is you with it? Cause I'm with it. Why don't you feel the same? Down, 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 down.
The good news is your hardtail is the best bike for pumping and making speed because you don't lose any of that force into your rear suspension, so you make loads of speed. And the best thing I think about it is it makes you smoother as well. Pumping is all about pushing your bike down into the ground at the bottom of these rollers. So the good thing about it is when you get it right, it feels right. You start to make loads of speed. Let's go faster. I'll try and drop lower to the rear wheel. It's got a bit more space. And hopefully, we'll start getting really fast. Pump tracks like this are the best place for practicing because, like I said, you'll just feel it and you'll get faster. You know, you can really feel the difference. And then you take it to the trail. Same skill, just look for little transitions on the trail. They can be tiny. Sometimes you'll ride, like a flow trail where there's loads of these, and it's safer because you're not throwing your weight around with the pedals. Hands up if you ever smacked a pedal on the floor and had a massive crash. So yeah, pumping is one of the best skills. Down, 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 down. You can try lowering your tyre pressures a couple of PSI, so maybe try in low 20s. That's going to get the most amount of tyre on the floor to give you a decent amount of grip. But if you're a heavier or an aggressive rider and you're going to be riding berms like this where you're squashing the bike in hard, then the tyres, you'll find them starting to squirm, which isn't good. If they're too low, they'll roll around on the rim. But for trail riding, where it's a bit less aggressive, then lower pressures can give you a decent amount of grip. Hopefully all these skills in this video is going to make you a smoother rider as well. And then the speed will come. You don't always keep smoothness because you haven't got any rear suspension, but definitely these skills can be used on whatever bike you fancy. But yeah, give us a thumbs up if you love trying to ride a hardtail fast.